Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another live show, guys. International break is pretty much done. It's a few games tonight, but Chelsea back in action this weekend. Premier League's back. Everything is good. Reece James also back in training, but as you can see, I'm delighted to be joined by Footy Judge Mo. Brother, thank you for coming. Great to have you on. I've been in your channel a few times, but this is your first time here. Really appreciate it. We're going to get stuck into Chelsea, Liverpool, race for the top four, looking ahead to the big fixture this weekend. First of all, mate, how you doing? You good?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. Listen, people, hit that like button for the channel. Charlie's doing a fantastic and an amazing work as always. He's on my channel, like I think regularly about a week or every other week as well. So hit that like button. Make sure if you are absolutely watching this on the replay to like the video before you go in and enjoy the show. It helps the channel. It helps him. He's trying his best to do content all the time as well. So hit that like button, people, for him. Put your questions in if you want. We're here. I'm being called a Chelsea twerker these days for some reason. Listen, we're here for it. We're here for it.
No, I appreciate you, bro. Yeah, guys, make sure you're doing that. But yeah, I mean, it's been a good start to the season for Chelsea. I've been impressed. Better than what I expected, to be perfectly honest. Maresca's done a really good job. Players are playing well. We're scoring a lot of goals. Team look pretty decent. Big test this weekend on Sunday, though. I mean, I know we've chatted briefly on your channel, but what have your thoughts been on Chelsea so far? Have they taken you by surprise a little bit at the start of this season?
Yeah. Anyone that says that the Chelsea are not exceeding their expectations, they're lying. I've watched a lot of YouTube. I've watched a lot of pundits. I've watched even myself, by the way. We were so hesitant of saying that Maresca will do a good job. And there is a good reason for it, which is I hear it from the people, right? I'm hearing it for the people. I can hear it. Because the guy didn't have the resume for him to be qualified to lead this Chelsea project. Because it's a very tough project. Young players, they're coming from maybe a half a good season. The season before was horrific, as we all know. And he wasn't a big name. He only had two managerial positions before, which is Parma. He failed. And Leicester, which is a lot of people put it as, yes, you promoted the club, but you bottled that many points. So a lot of people, I hear them being skeptical about him. But I can't understand why people are still skeptical about giving him praise. Do they not want to get clipped? Because when you watch Chelsea now, you can see what Enzo Maresca is doing. You can tell that the attack has been better. You can tell even the defense have been improving, by the way. And I said that pre-season, I said the defense is wide open. He needs to fix it, and he's trying. And just tactically speaking, for the people that don't understand how you can watch this Chelsea and see that the defense has been fixed. Chelsea have been having a structure defensively now for about 2, 3, 4 games, which means they aren't all out attack. Chelsea that we watched in preseason was attacking with 6 players and leaving the defenders wide open. Chelsea now, when they lose the ball, they don't press as high. They do like an Arsenal or even sometimes a Man City. When Man City sit deep a little bit, Chelsea now have the capacity to have 11 players behind the ball. That wasn't in the preseason, by the way. In preseason, a lot of Chelsea fans are, why are we attacking with 6, 7 players? Why are we pressing with 8 players? But Chelsea now, sometimes when they lose the ball, tactically speaking, they fall in their castle. They defend well. They defend deep. There are a lot of mistakes. Remember, 3 of the 8 goals scored against Chelsea were just individual mistakes from Sanchez. Just simple. That you shouldn't be putting that on the manager. The manager is not at fault for Sanchez just kicking it to the opposition. The manager might be at fault for a wrong position, for a defender passing it wrong. But if the goalkeeper just unforced error passing it to the opposition, I'm not going to fault the manager here. It's on the goalkeeper coach. So that is my take on Chelsea now. I believe it's improving. And again, I'm going to say that again. Bar injuries, and I'm going to hand it to Charlie now, I don't see why this Chelsea team will fall off. I want people to tell me, what is your evidence? And don't tell me, we saw Spurs. We know why Spurs fell off last season. They had all their key players injured at the same time. And the manager couldn't figure it out. Bar injuries, what evidence as a rival or even as a skeptical Chelsea fans do you have to say that this Chelsea team will fall off, will be 10th again or 8th again? Yeah, I'm not saying they're going to get top 4, but there's no evidence to suggest that Chelsea will slow down or will be worse than what we see now?
No, mate, I agree with you. I mean, look, obviously it's the same with Liverpool. It's fair to say that Chelsea haven't really had a big test yet this season. I know we played Man City on the opening day, but
And
opening
you
day
looked all right.
we've actually played all right. This is what I've been saying. Actually, even in games that we've lost, or we've lost one in the league, and even in the draws we've had against Forest and Crystal Palace at home, we've still actually played pretty well in every game this season, which is why obviously you're disappointed to drop those points at home, but it's why I've not been overly concerned about the direction the team's going in, because we're creating chances in those games and we just didn't take them, which is why we didn't win against Palace, which is why we didn't win against Forest. So I'm looking at Chelsea and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing. It's a big improvement from last season already with pretty much the same squad. Yes, there's more quality and depth in attack, but it's pretty much exactly the same squad what Pochettino had. But as you say, mate, the big difference is all the players are available. Reece James is the only one missing. He's back in training today. I don't know when he's going to be back in first team action, but he's going to be back. And I look at it and I agree with you. Look, we're going to go through a difficult run at some point. You always do. And it'll be interesting to see how Maresca responds, how this team responds to losing to difficult situations and whatnot. But I have to say, I feel confident and kind of the happiest I've felt about Chelsea in quite a long time, because we're actually enjoyable to watch again, which has not been the case for quite a while now. I agree with you. Defensively is a slight concern. Going to Anfield on Sunday with half the first choice back four missing, no Correa, no Fofana, both suspended, but Tosin will come in, who's done reasonably well this season, and obviously Renato Vega, who's been a little bit of a surprise. He'll probably play at left back, and I think the biggest praise I can give Maresca is that no matter who plays, doesn't matter if we make 11 changes or whatever, like everyone's doing their job, which points to me as a well-coached team. The system's there, the ideas are there, the principles of play are there. And whether it's Palmer playing, whether it's Felix, whether it's Mudryk, whoever it might be, whether it's Tosin at the back or whatever, like whoever's playing, they're doing their job and they're carrying out the task, which really does bode well that you can make 11 changes and still play exactly the way you want to. Yes, the level of opposition's not been as good, but I think that's a good sign. But I mean, mate, you touched on it on Chelsea defensively briefly. I mean, what do you make of the quality of defenders that Chelsea have got? Do you think that Levi Colwill and Wesley Fofana, has got the makings of a good partnership? I know you look at partnerships like Gabriel and Saliba, you look at Van Dijk and Konate, they've only conceded 2 goals this season. Obviously, it's early days for this partnership, but do you look at that partnership and that pairing and think this has got the makings of a decent partnership for years to come?
No.
You don't think so?
No, I don't. I think Levi Colwill has good potential. I like him on the ball. I like sometimes how he plays and everything. But I think I've been so consistent about this. If Chelsea went on this summer, right, last summer, and signed a top defender that can lead, that can calm everybody down, that can make everyone because even Correa is so rash. Fofana is so rash. Malo Gusto is good, but he had his ups and downs as well. Reece James, but he's injured all the time. I thought Chelsea should have went and signed a top defender. What I mean a top defender, a top experienced defender at 29, 30 years old, at 28 years old, that will calm. And it's not Tosin. Someone that won trophies before, that led a back line. Someone that can calm things down when things are frantic. I'm not a big fan of frantic football. Sometimes that Chelsea's defenders are frantic. They jump into tackles. They're out of position. The line is not straight. You know what I mean? Kukurea is going to press high. And I don't believe that it's not on. People think it's on the manager. It's not only on the manager. You really need sometimes that top defender that will calm things down and talk and lead. And you don't have that. You don't have that. I agree. No, and that is my point. The partnership might work 4 years from now. But I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking that partnership might be tested so many times to the point that you will lose confidence. You will need the other guy. I don't know who's that guy, in the world. There are a lot. I'm going to give an example. I like Mark Gahey. He's not that old, but the way Mark Gahey plays football is so composed and calm. We've seen Fabian Schär at Newcastle lead the line. He might not be the best defender on the pitch, but he leads. He directs. And if you played football, and I get a lot of people play football and everything. If you played football, a top defender, a leader at the back makes all the difference in the world. All the difference in the world. Chelsea don't have that. And it doesn't help that your DM is still a young guy in Caicedo. A young guy in Caicedo as well, who isn't that defender might have fixed your defense. I don't know who is that guy, in the world. I'm not the scout. I don't get paid to scout players in Germany.
Mate, I don't know who the guys are though. Like I agree with you. Like Chelsea do need another centre back. I think the club are looking, but obviously, as you know, what the recruitment model is, it's obviously going to be a younger guy with experience. I think they looked at there were talks about potentially Thomas Araujo at Benfica, and another guy who I now can't remember his name. There was chat about Diamonde a while back, but that seems to have gone very quiet. There's not when you're talking about top centre backs in their prime, like as you rightly say,
they cost.
It cost one, and two. There's not actually that many of them about, which is another problem. But I agree with you. Thiago Silva obviously left last season. He's basically everything that you've just described, but there's very few players like that knocking about. So you have to hope then maybe that someone like a Levi Colwill is going to develop into that leader. But right now, he isn't that guy. He's showing signs that he could be that guy, but he's not that guy right now. And when you've not got sort of a particularly vocal goalkeeper or a top quality goalkeeper behind you in Robert Sanchez, then you can look at that and you can see how the spine of the team right now, there's still a few bits missing. I think there's some like top goalkeeper not there. Top centre back, possibly, but not really a sort of a partnership there. Midfield, I think you've got a top player there in Moises Caicedo. Enzo Fernandez is still divides opinion. You've got your top number 10 in Cole Palmer, and then Nicholas Jackson is raw, showing good signs of improvement, showing good attributes. But have Chelsea got that top striker they need that can get them the goals in the big moments? And you've got Christopher Nkunku as well, who's not really a striker, but he's not starting at the moment. But look, I agree. Mark Guehi's not a bad player at all. He's done very well for England at the Euros. He's definitely not worth the 70 million that Crystal Palace wanted in the summer. But next summer, he's got a year left on his contract, I think. So that then puts his price right down. And then Chelsea got a 20% sell-on clause, which basically means a 20% discount on Guehi if they were to go for him. But yeah, defensively, I agree. That's my only concern. Look, we're not awful defensively by any stretch, but it is a weakness. I mean, you look at Liverpool's attack.
Who's a Jonathan Tah guy that was?
He's available on a free. He'll be on a free next summer.
He was rumored to go to Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich just didn't pay the money for Leverkusen. Chelsea could have gone and got a Jonathan Tah, German international, won the league with Bayern Leverkusen, led the team, by the way. He was a leader on that team. Maybe you can say, oh, he's slow. He's a leader at the back. He could have been that guy. And I don't know why they didn't go for him, because he's older, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's about 27, 28.
That is the elk of a player I'm talking about, Charlie.
Yeah.
That guy, Max Hummels about 7-8 years ago when he went to Bayern Munich, leading the line, leading the back line, directing people. That's what Chelsea lacks at the back. Because, of course, you don't have a top goalkeeper.
No, we don't have a top goal. We spent so much money on goalkeepers, right? We don't have we haven't got a top keeper. But I mean, it's a divisive.
I want to touch on a point that you mentioned.
Yeah,
I'm one of the only people that actually think Chelsea are light in the midfield.
No, I would agree.
People tell me, but we have Joao Felix and we have Palmer as a 10. I consider these guys a complete attacking midfielders. They're part of the attacking.
They're not midfielders.
They're basically.
They classify them as forwards. They're part of the forward line.
Apart from Lavia and Caicedo, Dewsbury Hall I rate. I like him as a bench player for Chelsea. I think he should start sometimes. I don't rate Enzo Fernandez. Chukwuemeka somehow. Enzo Maresca doesn't rate him. Cassidy, I don't think is good enough. But that is one that I think Chelsea are light in the midfield. Light.
There's obviously we've got
that instead of Joao Felix, you could have signed another midfielder.
Well, I agree, and I know it's easy to say that we should have kept Ugo Chukwu, we should have kept Andre Santos. But you look at it with Lavia's fitness issues, with a lack of a natural defensive midfield player. Look, people say Caicedo is a defensive midfield player. He can be, but he's more of a box-to-box guy. Enzo Fernandez is not a defensive midfield player. He's more of a deep line playmaker. He still massively divides opinion. And look, I think we could have done with an extra body in there. 100% could have done with an extra body in there. I really like the look of Andre Santos. I think he's going to be a top player for us, but it's obviously still a long way to go. Now, I look at someone like Leslie Ugochukwu. You look at kind of a tall physical presence. And I've chatted a lot about this, Mo. I'd like to get your thoughts on it, mate. You look at the money that Chelsea have spent on midfield players, right? A lot of money. Enzo, Caicedo, Lavia, etc. And you look at the profiles in the midfield, and there's no physical profiles in the middle of the park. And that for me is one of the big reasons why 9 times out of 10 Chelsea always come off second best in physical battles in midfield, because the likes of Enzo get brushed off the ball. Caicedo not as much, but I would have liked us to have a bit of a physical presence in the middle of the park, like when we had back in the day with Nemanja Matic, like when we had Michael Essien and whatnot. That I get it that profile of player is not always around, but if you look at teams that have won stuff, they've always had like a physical midfield player in the middle of the park. And we've spent a lot of money on midfield players, and that physical presence is just not there.
Yeah, it's not. To be honest, I agree with you. There is echo coming from somebody. But I agree with you. There is not a lot of Lavia's good. I think Caicedo's physical as well. I don't know who you can sign in that midfield that will give you that physicality, that 8 box to box. I know a lot of people maybe I don't know who, but you let go of Kovacic. But that midfield, I think, is a little bit light. You need one more. But the problem is you spent a lot of money in Enzo. You have to make it work. Enzo Fernandez. I feel that Chelsea now, they are looking to make Enzo work. You know what I mean?
It has to work. We have to make it work, because as you like the
guy.
Look, I don't look whether he was signed in a rush because he was young player of the year, young player of the tournament at the World Cup. Chelsea needed to invest in midfield players. They wanted to get ahead of the likes of Real Madrid or whatever. If we'd waited until that summer, chances are we may not have got him. So obviously we went all out in January. He done well in his first 6 months at the club. My issue with Enzo is that I don't dispute his quality. This is not about whether he's a good footballer or not. This is about whether he actually fits into the way that Chelsea want to play. Because I look at him, right, and I think, for example, against Nottingham Forest, he played more as an advanced number 8. But he's not getting into the box. Every time the ball got out to Sancho, got out to Madueke, you look up and there's only Nicholas Jackson in the box. Like, if you're playing in that advanced number 8, you want to be making late runs into the box. You need to be getting into the box or being on the edge of the box to make yourself available in dangerous areas. He wasn't doing that. And then you look at sort of physical battles in midfield. A number of times he gets bullied off the ball too easily. Second leg against Servette in the Conference League, he was brushed off the ball with ease in the build up to one of their goals. Like, you can't do that on the ball. I don't no doubt about his quality. My major issue with him is off the ball, discipline off the ball, and positional sense off the ball. Because under Maresca, out of possession, your positional play is so important. One place you cannot afford to lack discipline off the ball is at Anfield. And I'll just say I'm worried, but
I disagree with you on the ball thing.
You don't think you don't think he's good on the ball. You don't look at his. I know passing is like a basic attribute as such, but you don't look at his. For me, he's the only
exceptional in it. He's not exceptional in it, Charlie. He's not.
But he's good. He's good. He's our best passer, probably.
But he's not exceptional. That's the thing about football players. I always rate football players. If you lack some basic stuff, for me, Enzo Fernandez, I think I can remember the game. He played a little bit deeper. He played everywhere. He played at the 10. He got the ball deeper. And I said after 20 minutes, he should be subbed off. He lost the ball 3 times in a row in your half, receiving the ball with back to goal. Caicedo doesn't do that, right? So you have to be exceptional in passing. And he isn't. Like, he isn't exceptional in the passing range. Like, he would get you 1 or 2 passes that are great, but he isn't that exceptional for me to turn a blind eye on the other deficiencies that he has. He's too slow sometimes in thinking.
I would agree he's too slow. I think he lacks
athleticism. Too slow in thinking. And that is the thing. In the Premier League, in a league that doesn't give you a lot of time on the ball, he's a little bit slow. So your ability to pass doesn't shine because you're already slow and you're already pressed. You don't have the angles for it. That's why I think Enzo might not work unless it's built around him. Hear me out about this. I said that last season, and I want to get your take on it. And I want to get the people in the chat take on it. Enzo Fernandez is not fantastic for Chelsea to build around him. And his abilities are not good for him to fit in the system. You only hide deficiencies if you're brilliant in one aspect of the game, that you will win Chelsea the game. That is the problem. You know what I mean? He isn't that guy. So Chelsea can't build around the guy because there are better players than him on the pitch. Palmer is better. Caicedo is better. I believe Jackson is better. You know what I mean? You aren't the best player on the pitch for Chelsea to build everything around you to work. You have to work around other players, and you're not good enough. That is the problem, Enzo.
No, I agree that he's not his performances haven't warranted Chelsea and Maresca putting the whole system around him. They absolutely haven't. But whether we agree or not, whether we like it or not, we spent over 100 million quid's been invested in him. He's going to play. You know, he's part of the leadership group. Maresca's made him, you know, one of the captains or the vice captain or whatever you want to call it. He's going to play, and he's got to find a way of making it work. And Enzo Fernandez has got to improve his level of performance. Now, would I say he's been awful this season? No, he's not been awful. Has he cost Chelsea points? No, he hasn't. But with money spent comes expectation, and the performance levels that he's put in recently don't warrant what you would expect from £100 million player. No, I don't hate Enzo Fernandez whatsoever. I like him. I think he's a very good footballer, and I want him to work out for Chelsea. But it's only right to have the conversations about him, because it could be a problem for Chelsea. Now, I look at it, and I think that, for me personally, I would really like to see a Lavia Caicedo midfield as like a two-man midfield. I would very much like to see that. I think that has got the potential to be very good. Yeah. But I don't know if Maresca. I'm not saying Maresca's not got the bollocks to drop Enzo to the bench and go
Why
with
not?
that.
Because of the captain, huh?
Well, no, it's not. I think he's not got it. But we know how these things work. You know, when you spent big money on a player, there's an expectation that he plays. Whether that's right or not, we've seen it in the past, not just at Chelsea but other clubs. You know that big money signings, more often there's an expectation that these guys have to play. And do you know what? Like I was when we went on that run under Poch last season at the end, when we had 6 wins on the spin or whatever, and Enzo obviously missed all those games because he was out with he was out having surgery. And a lot of people were saying, oh, you know, Chelsea played much better with him not in the team. Now, I didn't fully subscribe to that, because there are games where he's won and played well when he had played. But I'm not saying that we would be a better team, but I would like to see what it would be like if he didn't play. I'm not saying he's holding Chelsea back or anything like that. But do you actually think Chelsea could be a better team? Or the midfield would be better balanced? Or do you think Chelsea would actually, it would be better set up if he didn't play?
Yes.
Do you think it makes a big difference?
I actually said that Enzo should be dropped and Joao Hall should be there to provide energy.
Yes. Do you think
Chelsea would think that? I really think that Enzo might be holding other players around him back, because I think Enzo I don't know what happened to the guy. He's getting slower by the day. Right? He's getting slower by the day. I think people hold his hand on the pitch. That phrase, which means Caicedo has to look over his shoulder because Enzo's there. Cole Palmer, when he has the ball, there is Enzo. Is he there? If we lose the ball, is Enzo in the right place? Can Enzo stop the transition? I believe someone like Joao Hall, for example, the energy he provides. Of course, it's going to be Lavia, right? I like Lavia. I think Lavia can be the good partner for Caicedo. I think Chelsea might look better without Enzo Fernandez. And I actually think that sometimes he does more harm than good on the pitch. More times than not. By not helping Caicedo, by losing the ball, by picking the wrong passes sometimes, by going for that money ball at the end. I think Lavia is the answer. I don't think Enzo might be... Maresca might need to take Enzo out of the firing line a little bit, having come off the bench or something. Enzo sometimes look on the pitch like the player that doesn't belong in Chelsea. You can feel that the others belong. He doesn't at some point. He needs a much slower paced team than Chelsea. He might work in a team like Manchester City, passing the ball around, having the space. For Chelsea, sometimes, not yet. You aren't the team yet to impose your authority for 90 minutes. Do you get my point here?
Yeah,
You
no,
aren't that team. Like Enzo Fernandez might work. Okay. You know why he worked in Argentina? Because Messi. When you have Messi in Argentina, the opposition already 10 yards behind because they're scared already. So you have more space. With Chelsea now, the opposition is not giving you the respect yet to have the space to work and have that extra second on the ball, like Man City players, extra second on the ball. Chelsea aren't there yet. That's why he's pressed all the time. Always, people are pressed. And I think he's slow. That's the thing. I think Lavia is the answer, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, he could well be. He's definitely someone that, you know, we haven't seen enough of him. You know, he played well on the first game against Man City. And then he obviously had a bit of an injury problem. And then we've literally seen him have one appearance since. He come off the bench against Brighton, didn't play against Forest. He's not going to start against Liverpool away. As much as I'd love him to, he's not going to start. He hasn't played enough football recently. But, I mean, mate, if we look ahead to this Liverpool game, right? Obviously, Maresca and Slot have both made good starts coming into to big jobs, difficult circumstances. Probably slightly easier for Slot, given that the bulk of the squad's still there. Never easy to follow someone like Jurgen Klopp, but you know the quality of the player is obviously all there. They've started very well, defensively very good. What are your thoughts on this game? Because Chelsea haven't won at Anfield since 2021, and they haven't beaten Liverpool in the last 9 games against them. So yeah, the record's not great. I mean, when you sort of what you've seen of Liverpool, do you think Chelsea can cause them problems with the likes of Palmer, Jackson, Madueke, whether it's Neto, Sancho, whoever it might be? Do you think Chelsea have got a decent chance in this game?
Less likely, to be honest. Not. Listen, if we're talking about the more likely outcome of this game is Liverpool win.
Agreed.
Right? And Chelsea can get a point. Chelsea winning is the least likely output. And people have to accept that. By the way, I would have said the same if Arsenal are playing Liverpool. If Man City are playing Liverpool at Anfield. Anybody that goes to Anfield are inferior. Right? You're going to Anfield. Maresca has to accept that sometimes in some games, right, you might need to change the way you play. You might be able to play in the counter-attack a little bit. I believe Maresca should not press Liverpool. When Man United tried to play toe-to-toe with Liverpool, Liverpool tore them apart. And that at Old Trafford. I don't believe you will be torn apart, but I believe if you try to go toe-to-toe with Liverpool, the more likely outcome, from my opinion, is Liverpool will bypass your press, will bypass your midfield, and you'll have 4-on-4 or 3-on-3 at the back. That's why Maresca needs to drop everyone deep, defend deeper, because Liverpool had struggles breaking low blocks this season.
Well, against Forest, yeah.
Maresca should use that to his advantage and play counter-attacking football. That is my point. That is my point. Nottingham Forest dropped deep and Liverpool struggled. I think the other game, Liverpool struggled to get a lot of chances, right? In my opinion, Chelsea have the biggest chance if they defend deeper and they play in the counter-attack. Cole Palmer pick the passes for Madueke, who might have a run on Andy Robertson. Yes, you're going towards Van Dijk's area, but Madueke can have a run against Robertson. Nicholas Jackson to run behind Konate and Van Dijk. I know Liverpool have had the strongest defense.
What do you reckon about Sancho up against Trent? That could be an interesting matchup because we know Trent's a little bit suspect defensively. He'll get forward. Well, do you mean?
But I think Konate is the one that's going to eat him alive.
Yeah.
It's not going to be Trent, you know that. It's not going to be Trent defending him. It's going to be Konate taking on Sancho. Because Trent is going to attack, and it's going to be Sancho against Konate. I believe, I'm not sure. I'm still undecided about Sancho. Yes, he had some good halves here and there. 3 assists, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 3 assists in 4 games, yeah.
I'm not sure that left side. If it was me, I'll play Neto, to be honest. Speed behind Trent.
Yeah.
Sancho play a 5-a-side football. You know, on the standing side, he shifts the body. Neto is more direct. Trent will struggle against the Neto, a direct winger that will go at him, will take him to speed, that Konate has to cover. Sancho, even if it's Trent or Konate, it's easier to defend against Sancho because he dribbles standing, not running with the ball like a Neto. I would have played Neto there. That is my take, especially on the counter-attack. But maybe Sancho can prove people wrong, to be honest.
I mean, to us, man, I've even had like thoughts about whether like Mudryk's played reasonably well recently. You know, like he's like I know. Look, he's played against the likes of Barrow, Ghent. He was decent when he come on against Forest. He looked threatening. He scored against Georgia. They had a good game for Ukraine the other night. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I wonder whether that's an interesting option, particularly given his pace in behind. You know, there's going to be a lot of space in behind Trent, for example, that maybe someone like a Mudryk could expose. Maybe a Mudryk could potentially be a better option than a Sancho on that left-hand side. Possibly.
Why not Neto, though? Why are people so high? Neto played a lot on the left.
Yeah, but I think I've not got a problem with Neto playing on the left, and he's played on the left a few times this season. But Maresca sees him as more of a right-hand side option, even though he's equally comfortable on both sides. I mean, I wouldn't be against Neto starting. I think he's knocking on the door of a starting place, absolutely. But I mean, Mo, how much of a problem do you think it is that Fofana and Cucurella are going to be missing half of the first choice back four missing? When you look at Liverpool's attack, do you think that's a big issue? Or
I
do you
don't
think...
like Cucurella anyway. I don't like Cucurella. I'm probably the one on the guy that hates Cucurella the most on the internet. I don't like Cucurella. I think Vega's better than him.
Do you like Vega? You've been impressed by Vega?
I like Vega. Yeah, very impressed.
Mate, I was very surprised. Very surprised.
Very impressed.
Literally never heard anything about him. We signed him. Bro, he looks decent. Utility player.
Which is the astonishing thing. Because Chelsea signing this guy that we never heard of, and he comes in and he plays all right. I believe if it's not about protection and it's not about protecting players, Vega might get a starting place in the league within 20 games.
Yeah.
I believe Vega is a better player than Cucurella. On the ball, he's better. Physicality, he's better. I believe Vega deserves a spot. He doesn't hide. Vega always asks for the ball. And Vega against Salah, the physicality of Vega might help him as well. It might be blessing in disguise. You know what I mean? It might be. I don't know. I like Vega. The couple of times I watched the guy, looks composed. Looks good.
He looks decent.
So he looks composed. For Tosin and Fofana, if Chelsea play a little bit deeper, I think Tosin would provide better leadership than Fofana at the back, organizational wise. So maybe all of these are blessing in disguise. I know Fofana is aggressive, but I believe that Tosin might provide the leadership that you might need in a game like this for someone like Colo, for a Caicedo, for a Gusto, for a Vega, because Vega's playing. That's why I believe Tosin might help Chelsea. I don't believe Tosin has a mistake in him, right? I don't know. I don't think Tosin has a mistake in him.
No, but so far it's not looked like it. But
he's not amazing, though.
No,
but he's
amazing.
Composed, good defender when he plays.
He's done a decent job. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he's obviously ahead of the likes of Fofana, Badiashile, etc. Sorry, not Fofana. He's ahead of the likes of Badiashile and Disasi. Bro, I've got honestly.
I have no idea how this guy fell off like this. He was
bro,
so good when he joined. Honestly,
mate,
he benched Koulibaly right away. Do you remember?
Yeah. When you joined? It's one of the biggest mysteries Chelsea fans cannot understand. I'm sure, like just football fans in general. As you say, when he first come in, mate, he literally came in. Chelsea absolutely shocking under Graham Potter. Come in, looked like he's been there for years, done so well. Picked up an injury at the back end of that season, was out for about 4 or 5 months, and then when he come back last season, guy was making individual mistakes. It was like his twin brother was playing or something. Yes. Like I don't know what's happened to him. And now
ability, right? He's quick. He's not the fastest guy on earth, but he's quick. He's very physical, left-footed, strong. You know what I mean? I'm like, what happened to you? Why are you making everything? And he's making things difficult. If you notice, when he plays, he takes the ball into these jammed areas. And instead of open up angles and pass the ball first time, how many times he complicated for himself, and then the mistake happened? I don't understand. Like, how can you have that much ability that we saw you have, and then be that bad, even in a functioning Chelsea? Now, I don't know. It's a mystery that I
don't know what's happened to him, because I really like him. He's still a young boy. He's about 23 or something. I still hope there's some sort of potential in him, some time for him to maybe sort things out. But he's very much become a Thursday night player now. He's just a cup guy, which is not really the reason he signed. But yeah, I don't know what's happened to him. Just quickly, mate, whilst you're on defenders, what are your thoughts on Disasi?
I don't know. Nobody knows. I don't think anyone knows what Disasi is. Are you a right back? Are you?
He's definitely not a right back.
Are you an aggressive defender? Do you drive with the ball? Like, I look at Disasi and I think Disasi would work very well at Everton. Low block, lots of interceptions, blocks. You know what I mean? Lots of blocks, diving in front of the ball like a Tarkovsky style football player. For Chelsea, the team that wants to build from the back, that wants to pass the ball, I don't think he's it. I don't think he's it. Like, I'm not sure if Disasi has a future at Chelsea.
He doesn't. For me, he's gone. Him and Badiashile will be gone next summer. Arguably, both could be gone. And yeah, it's just the way it goes.
I think it might be sold in January. If I'm Chelsea, I would sell Disasi in January and I would try to sign another defender.
Yeah, it's just difficult in January to get who you want. But no, look, for sure, in my view, I agree with you. I think that one or both of them will be gone. Next summer. 100%.
Disasi is very strange, Charlie.
What are you
good at? What is he good at?
Performances last season, though. Like he had some good ones. I mean, when you watch him, for example, when we drew 1-1 at the Etihad against Man City, the guy was phenomenal. And
but do you see how he defended?
Yeah, but
style defending. But that's what I mean. That's the point. That's not your style.
Yeah,
but that's not how you're gonna play against 90% of the teams you play, right?
No,
that's the whole point. That's why I said Everton will suit someone like him. He's a low block defender, physical, big, will tackle, will give you the heart on the pitch. But Chelsea don't play this way now. You just don't. Most of the time,
and he's not good enough on the ball to play that kind of style. But I mean, mate, if we sort of throw it ahead, like obviously race for the top four. I mean, I'm not Chelsea, despite what some people think, Chelsea absolutely aren't in a title race. But when you look at the race for the Champions League, the top four, certainly in my opinion, from what we've seen so far, I think it's very much between Chelsea and Villa at this point in time. Man United, for me, not in the race. Newcastle got a good first 11, but any injuries, the squad depth, not good enough. I've not really been that impressed by them this season. Tottenham are just so hit and miss. I just don't think they've got consistency in them. So for me, I'm looking at it being between Villa and Chelsea. I mean, is that how you see the early race for the top four now? Do you think it's wrong to discount those guys? You think Newcastle got a chance?
Yeah. I think Newcastle.
Are you not concerned about their squad depth?
The reason why I think Newcastle, we're looking at them now, and sometimes there is Fabian Schär and Dan Burn, Livramento, Lewis Hall. I believe once Newcastle get Botman back, comes January and they sign a defender, I think they'll be all right. The problem is Eddie Howe has to defend deep because of Dan Burn and some 3 games Fabian Schär missed. That's why Newcastle will look at them and like, you're not it. But Newcastle, when they had Botman and Fabian Schär, they played on the front foot the majority of the games, pressing high, they move the ball well. And that is the problem. We look at Newcastle, and I agree with you, the starting 11 are not great, but I believe that comes January, Newcastle will invest in a centre back that will allow them not to have Dan Burn. If I'm not mistaken, Dan Burn started every game as centre back.
Probably.
Which is why Newcastle have to defend deep. You leave Dan Burn at the back, and you're just wide open. I believe they have of course, you don't play any European competition. One game a week. So 1 game a week. Focus on that. You're there. I'm looking at Newcastle, and I think they are in the mix. Villa, Chelsea, Newcastle. My pick was Chelsea, even before that ball was kicked. The beginning of the season. I believe Villa Champions League will take a toll on them. 8 games. You know what I mean? Plus the cups. You have a second team that can play in the Thursday nights, basically, and rest everyone. So that will give you an advantage over them. I believe Chelsea are in prime position to get top 4. Aston Villa second, maybe Newcastle behind them. I don't consider Brighton contender for top 4. Man United are absolutely in contention to top half of the table finish. That is where they are now.
Yeah.
Spurs are weird, and I stopped believing the Spurs of the last season. They're Spursy, and I don't consider them in part of the conversation at all. They will have this in and out of the conversation. You'll see some weeks where Spurs are in the conversation, and then for 3-4 weeks, you will see them. Oh no, you are in the conversation. So I believe these three teams. But Villa and Chelsea are closer. Villa are doing a fantastic job. But Chelsea, because of the fact that you signed a lot of players, it's just the fact that you have an advantage because you don't need to play anyone. Basically, you can sub 11 players on Thursday and you'll be all right.
Yeah. No, that's definitely a big advantage. I mean, I look at it and think, this is definitely our best chance probably to get back into the Champions League in recent years. Even look at last season, right? I know Villa had a very good season in that, but we in the end only missed out by 5 or 6 points, and that was probably because we won 3 of our first 10 league matches. That's why we were so poor. 3 wins in the first 10. Shocking.
Let me ask the people in the chat a question, Janukas, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
There's about 90 people here or something, guys. Hit that like button first. And a lot of you guys are Chelsea fans. Let me ask you a question. Do you believe if you're close to the top in January, you should go get a signing, a top striker, or spend the money and push for it? Do you believe you can do that, Charlie?
Mate, I've sort of rode back on this so many times, right? Throughout the whole summer, I was there every day saying, we need a striker, we need a striker, we need a striker. Right, we didn't get one, with Duran, Osimhen, or whatever. None of them happened. And then Jackson and Nkunku have started the season pretty well. And then I'm sat here thinking, well, maybe we don't need a striker. Maybe we can hold off till next summer and maybe reassess the situation then. But it's hard to argue against, like, if you were able to get a top striker in, it's hard to argue against not doing it. The only problem is, though, Mo, what do you do if Christopher Nkunku, if a striker comes in? Because this is exactly my point. Like, because Jackson's not going anywhere. The club believe in him. The club like him. He signed a new contract extension till 2033 or whatever. Nkunku was, when he signed, was, a lot of Chelsea fans, a lot of football fans in general thought he was going to be the guy. He still could be, but right now he's playing second fiddle to Jackson. He's playing majority of the time on a Thursday night. He started 1 game in the league this season. Yes, he's our top scorer, but what would you do with Nkunku then? That's my only thing. Like, you bring a striker in, and that's my thing this summer, right? If we'd signed Osimhen this summer, what would have happened to Nkunku? Because then, if you play Nkunku as a 10, he's not playing ahead of Palmer. Yeah, okay, he plays ahead of Felix.
You wouldn't have gotten Sancho on the left.
No, maybe not. But
it would have been Jackson moving to the left, or even Nkunku playing left. You would not have gotten Sancho. No, I believe that was going to be the case.
No, I agree, but like in January, like for me, I'm fed up with the Osimhen stuff. I don't really want to. I don't want to see Chelsea going back in for Osimhen. Look, I like Osimhen, right? But I've always maintained I don't think he's as good as what a lot of people make him out to be. Like the way that people speak about him, not everyone, but the way that a lot of people speak about him makes him out to be like some sort of unbelievable striker. Like for me, Chelsea, look, would Osimhen make Chelsea better? Probably, but is he the right sort of striker that we would be looking for? I don't know. And like in the summer, like a lot of people laughed, look, myself included, you know, likes of John Duran, likes of Samuel already on it and whatnot. And you look at what those guys are doing so far this season. One of those guys maybe wouldn't have been that bad, but I don't know. But if it was you though, who do you think would make a difference in January?
For me,
Gyökeres would be great, of course.
You get a striker no matter who it is, and it's not Duran and Umrodian. You get a Gyökeres, you get an Osimhen. I think it makes a big difference for you.
I think
I'm going to tell you how I see it. Jackson and Nkunku don't have that fear factor in them for the oppositions, like a Haaland, like an Isak. Osimhen does. It doesn't matter if you rate him or not, right? But you know that if Osimhen is on the pitch, oppositions are making plans to stop Osimhen. They don't treat him like they treat Jackson. As much as I like Nkunku, we know that Osimhen has a fear factor in him. He'll be marked with two players. He will open spaces for other people. He will make these runs. He's physical. He's so quick. He's actually not bad in the link-up play. And I watched him at Napoli. I absolutely think that Osimhen might be the difference maker at Chelsea. Ahead of Palmer, over there, Palmer behind him, he'll be phenomenal, in my opinion.
How do you think, but you think he'd fit in? You think he'd fit into the system well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know why? People mistaken Osimhen for something that is not it. The year that Napoli won the league under Spalletti, I think they were the third or the fourth highest position-based team in the world. So he didn't have all that spaces in the world that people think, oh, Osimhen is only good when they have spaces. Osimhen is only good when the opposition play a high line. Napoli always had position, by the way, in that league, in Italy, always. And Italian defenders are aggressive. And Osimhen scored abundance of goals. So Osimhen is used to play in tight spaces. The proof is there. Go check Napoli stats. I watched some of the games. Go check Napoli stats. They averaged over 65% position in that year. And he was their main striker. And he scored a lot of goals. That means he didn't have a lot of spaces. So that is the thing, right? That is the thing. And people need to understand that Osimhen is not just a guy that runs behind the defense. He's good in tight spaces. He's not that bad. He will score goals for Chelsea. So I believe he will suit both systems. And he can run behind as well. That is my take on Osimhen.
No, look, I think he's a good player. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, whether Chelsea are going to go back in, I don't think Chelsea will change the money they're offering him. So whether Osimhen decides that he is prepared to accept less money that he wasn't prepared to do in the summer, maybe he's prepared to do it now. I don't know. But yeah, it could make a difference. I mean, just like obviously we got Jackson, we got Nkunku. I think look, that's obviously enough to get into the top four. What are your thoughts on Nkunku, Mo? Because obviously, like people want him in the team because he's obviously a good player and he's been doing well. But right now, there's not really a space for him in the team. If he's going to play regularly, it's going to be playing. He's going to have to play as a 9. But Jackson's got that role at the moment. Palmer's got that 10 role. And I don't think he's that good out wide. But you see him playing for France. He's back scoring again. This is a top quality player, and Chelsea need to somehow get him in the team, in my opinion. But I don't know how we get him in. I mean, what are your thoughts? Because I think it's disrespectful to have Nkunku as or to view Nkunku as just like an impact sub. I think there's a lot more to him than that. But I don't know how to fit him in because he's a better finisher than Jackson, but Jackson I'd say more difficult for defenders to deal with. The way that he runs channels, pulls players out of positions, I think it's a bit more of a handful. Whereas Nkunku is good in the tight spaces. He's very skillful. And if a chance was to fall to someone on the pitch, I want it to fall to him. But he's not offering the same to the team as what Jackson does. So, mate, do you think right now Nkunku's just going to have to accept that he's second fiddle in the league and hopefully maybe Jackson goes through a poor run of form or something to get his chance? I mean, how do you see Nkunku forcing his way into the A team, as it were?
There's a couple of things here. Number one, I think Chelsea are putting their eggs on the wrong basket completely, which is Jackson. The reason why I'm saying that, when you have a chance for the number 9, you want it to fall to Nkunku, not Jackson. Everyone agrees with that.
He's
a better footballer. Jackson runs the channel. Chelsea in the game under Maresca is not for a striker to run the channel. It's to have position. It's to dominate the ball and be the team that stamps their authority on the game. So your striker naturally will not have the chances to run the channel because he will be someone who only gets the chances, right? So my point about this, he needs to invest in Nkunku in that role because we see Jackson missing chances week in, week out sometimes, right? You don't want, because the people that run the channels, when you have the ball and be a wide wingers, you have Palmer playing behind the forward. You have a Madueke holding a line, Sancho holding another line, or Neto, or whoever is going to play. You need your number 9 to be more clinical. When you get 2 chances, you score 1. That is Nkunku, not Jackson. I like Jackson when Chelsea were playing the frantic football. Back to front quickly, all of this. That happens in some games in the league. But again, I'm going to repeat this again. In more games than not, Chelsea will have more the position of the opposition. They will stamp their authority. So you need your striker to be the guy that scored the goals rather than run the channels. Run the channels is Calvert-Lewin for Everton. Of course, the comparison is far, but because Everton are always on the back foot, you want that guy. Jackson is good, but I think Nkunku should be the guy up top. Chelsea would have scored more goals if Nkunku was there. That is my opinion. And I think he's 26 years old. Some Chelsea fans treat Nkunku as he's 30 years old. He's only 26.
Yeah, he's got a lot of years in him.
Hit his prime.
Yeah.
He might not have even hit his prime, to be honest.
I agree, mate. I mean, this thing here, like, On Felix, by the way, and look, I was in the summer, I was against signing him. I don't hate the guy, but in my opinion, the guy's not had a good season since he left Benfica. And there's a reason why no one really wants him. He's a bit of an enigma. I think he's one of them players where the reality, the idea of him is far better than the reality of him. Yes. I want to be wrong about Felix, but one, we only signed him so that Gallagher could go to Atletico Madrid. That's never a good reason to be signing a player. And secondly, I just look at him when he's played so far. Yeah, okay, he's aesthetically pleasing on the ball. He's nice to watch. This guy doesn't impact games. He doesn't. Like
merchant.
What is he
do?
Merchant.
Great dribble, great dribbling. Fantastic for the fans that spend money to watch TV or go to the games. Amazing.
He's got so much talent though, and like you just think, well, where is it? Where is it?
Mentality, decision making is wrong all the time. Looking for the dribble, passing is the last resort. Looking for the 1-2s and the aesthetically pleasing passes instead of the effective ones. I hope that Enzo Maresca can get the best out of him, but it has been too long since we have seen Joao Felix play and affect games with the talent he has. Like,
yeah. When was the last time you think Felix was good, Mo? Like, I'm not exaggerating.
I don't know either. Even there is a reason why for the Portuguese team they play even Leao over him. Even Leao, which is I rate Leao, but Leao's decision making is not the best. Joao Felix would dribble when he needs to pass, would make a 1-2 when he needs to dribble, will not shoot when he needs to shoot. Maybe Enzo Maresca can get the best out of him. I believe it was an opportunistic signing, another guy that fits the bill, another guy that fits the model of Chelsea, and it's because of Conor Gallagher. I'm not sure if Felix is a long term for Chelsea. I don't know. I don't understand why Chelsea signed Joao Felix. No, what is he different than Cole Palmer? Cole Palmer is 10 times better than him because Cole Palmer actually leads the game, affects the game. He takes the game by the scruff of the neck. What does Joao Felix do other than a couple of good dribbles?
No, mate, I agree with you. I don't know what this guy does. And look, okay, it's a good option. It's a nice option to have for Thursday night or whatever. But you're not spending 45 million quid on someone to play on a Thursday night, or maybe you are. I don't know, but I just think he's a bit lightweight. He's not a physical presence. He needs time on the ball. I'm just not seeing it with him. I just don't see it with him. I get it. He's a talented kid. And he's 24 now. Like, this is his luck for me. Maybe similar with Jadon Sancho. This is Felix's last chance at a big club. If this doesn't work out for him at Chelsea, he's not going to go to another top club because there's too big a track record here of him not performing at a top club. And look, I'm not writing Felix off as a Chelsea player. I want him to do well, but there's a big catalogue of evidence that suggests that this guy is not really it, and I'm yet to be convinced otherwise. So yeah, I don't understand it. I think there's a lot better players than him. And yeah, right now he's obviously he's got his place, and it's on the bench. By the way, guys, keep smashing the likes. There's 92 people in here. Only 57 likes. Let's get this to 100, guys. Would be greatly appreciated. Really helps out. And make sure you keep subscribing to the channel as well if you are new around here. On the road to 13k now, so make sure you're subscribing. Support the journey. It is greatly appreciated. Mo, just to kind of round out, mate, kind of bringing it back to the game. How do you see this one going, Chelsea-Liverpool? It's probably both teams' biggest games of the season. It's one of the biggest games of the season in the league so far. Do you expect it to be an open game, end-to-end, tight? Liverpool haven't conceded many goals. Chelsea scoring a lot of goals. What sort of game are you expecting?
Tight game. 2-1 Liverpool. That is my prediction for the game. 2-1 Liverpool. I believe Maresca is not going to press. He's going to try to play behind Liverpool high line. He's going to try to play behind Gravenberch and McAllister and Szoboszlai in the middle, with Cole Palmer being the 10. Nicholas Jackson is going to try to run the channels behind Robertson and Trent. But I see Liverpool winning, to be honest. I see Anfield being too much for these players. Anfield being too much for the players of Chelsea. Liverpool have played better than Chelsea this season. Yes, the teams that they face are similar. I don't think this game is going to end up in a draw, to be honest. I think there will be goals. I'll be surprised, to be honest. I'll be very surprised if this game ends in a draw, 1-1 or 0-0. Might be, as people say in the chat, 2-2. But I'll be surprised if Liverpool concede 2 goals at Anfield, guys. Like, I'll be very surprised.
They defended so well. I mean,
Like,
are you surprised at how good the Van Dijk Konate partnership's been? Because everyone talks about Gabriel and Saliba, but Van Dijk and Konate have been a better partnership than them this season. I mean, you surprised at how well they've done? Because Konate,
no, I'm not.
Konate is an interesting one, isn't he? Because he was kind of not mocked, but people didn't really rate him that much when he first come. But like this season, he looks like a different player.
Yeah, he looks better. He looks more composed. But I put down all of this down to one thing. It's Virgil van Dijk. He is the guy. Virgil van Dijk, to be honest. He's the guy. Virgil van Dijk. He's a leader. Phenomenal. Best defender to ever play in the Premier League individually, by the way. Doesn't matter who you put next to him. I know Chelsea fans, you love John Terry. Man United fans love Rio Ferdinand. I've never seen a defender that good individually. That's just my opinion. It's a conversation, not discounting the others. But it doesn't matter who you put next to him. Kwanzaa, Matip, Gomez, Konate. He always looks top. Right? He always got top. But I believe that Virgil van Dijk is the reason why he's playing like that. And also you gotta understand that in Arne Slot somehow hit the ground running again against all odds and all the.
I've been very impressed with him, by the way, because people kind of like knock the Eredivisie a little bit. You know, it's not a particularly great league and whatnot, but he's come in and he's done very well. But I think like with Maresca and whatnot, I mean, how do you think these teams will respond to a difficult period? Because right now everything's been great for Slot, everything's been great for Maresca. Like, how do you think that? I mean, let's start with Chelsea, for example. Like, Chelsea are going to go through a difficult spell at some point. How do you envisage them dealing with that? How do you think Maresca is going to deal with that? Because when everything's going well, it's easy. You don't really have to do anything, but you find out more about a team, more about a manager when things aren't going well. I mean, how do you think Chelsea might respond to, say, going on a run of 3-4 games without a win? Pressure starts to build. You know, you've had all the positive talk about it, and then you start to get the negative stuff coming out. I mean, do you think Maresca's kind of that guy that can deal with that sort of thing quite easily?
Personality, yes, but we don't know. You know, the personality, the way he speaks to the media, yes. To answer the question, yes, but we haven't seen him in these situations. But we have no data to go by. You know what I mean? We only have his press conferences, the way he treated Sterling, the way he treated the team, the way he speaks in the media. So for me, yes, right? Like, I think the personality speaks for itself, that he can be that guy to lead Chelsea if there are any adversities. But data, we don't know, Charlie. And by the way, anybody that tells you I know, they don't know. How would you know?
No one knows.
Like some people just sit and say, oh, I know, he is the man for you. How would you know then? Based on what? Like, do you sit with them in the room, or do you only go by some press conferences he had? That is the thing, in my opinion. So, like, I don't know. Based on, and I'm not an expert in people, but I'm not a shrink. You know what I mean? From him, looks like a top personality, very, very articulated against the media, knows what to say, knows how to say things, well spoken. And I said that all the time. When someone is that well spoken in the media, that tells me that in the back room, when nobody's watching, he knows how to deliver a message. You know what I mean? That's the difference between him and Ten Hag. Ten Hag doesn't know what to say. That's why I don't believe that he can deliver a message. Enzo Maresca, from what I've watched, knows how to deliver a message, affirmative. So I believe he is the guy to deliver the message at the Chelsea back room. And that's all I can go with, to be honest with you.
Honestly, mate, do you know what's mad, right? I've been so impressed with how much better he's just looked than Pochettino, just in every aspect, considering he's a vastly superior manager, like experience-wise, he's vastly superior to someone like Pochettino. Yet Maresca so far has done everything better than him. You know, the way that he deals with the media, the way that he sets the team up, style of play, identity. Like, this is obviously is a difficult question for sure, but I mean, from what you've seen so far, from what people say about Maresca, do you think Maresca he's got the potential to develop into a top manager? I mean, what do you reckon?
I don't, like, we don't know. Looking at, it's too early. It's too early to say. But personality, as I said there, tactically, I think from what I've watched, looked all right. You know what I mean? So yes, he looks good. Same. The difference between him and Arne Slot, for the people who don't know, Arne Slot managed the top team in the Netherlands and won the league before.
Yeah.
It's different when you manage a team in the Netherlands when there is media press. He managed Leicester, yes, for 1 year, if I'm not mistaken.
Just one season, one season.
And that team was already the best team in that league. You know what I mean?
It was a Premier League squad.
Yeah, that was the best team. And he managed Parma. So people ask these questions, not you, but people ask, oh, Maresca will be good. How do you know? From where?
There's no evidence.
People, but Arteta was that. And 90% of Arsenal fans wanted Arteta out in the first year or two.
Yeah,
nobody knew.
We don't know. We don't know. No, we don't know.
Looking at the sample size, you wanted me to judge sample size, 7 games and preseason? Yeah, he looks good.
Yeah, he's gonna be great.
Yeah, well, good answer. He's fantastic coach. Oh my God, he already revived Sancho. Yeah. Modric is very well. Madueke scored a hat trick.
Mate, do you know what I've seen? Right, look, I've seen some things on Twitter. Right, people saying that Maresca's revived Sancho's career. I'm like, guys, he's played 4 games. 4 games doesn't equal is not a career resurrection. Like it's mad. By the way, guys, keep smashing the likes. We are 25 likes away from 100. We're going to get there before we round out in the next 5-10 minutes or so. So make sure you're smashing that like button, guys. Let's get it up to 100 likes. And oh yeah, Mo, I've seen something in the chat. Like Alisson's missing this game. Obviously, he's not going to be in goal. Yeah. How much of a blow do you think that is for Liverpool?
Not as much. He's an amazing goalkeeper, but Kelleher has done a good job. Alisson is a fantastic goalkeeper. Best goalkeeper.
You think he's better than Ederson?
Ederson? Yeah,
better than Ederson?
Ederson is not even the conversation for me. I've maintained this throughout the years. Ederson has had good moments. I don't think Ederson is a top goalkeeper because he plays good with his feet. No, it's not close. Ederson is not half what Alisson is.
Half. You think Alisson's best keeper in the league?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt in my mind. Bro, David Raya is better than Ederson.
Raya's been good, you know. Do you know what? I'll be honest. I didn't realize how good he was. Like at Brentford, you watch him and that, you think, yeah, he's all right in that. He goes to Arsenal, you're a little bit surprised. Bro, I'm very surprised at how good he is. Like really surprised. Because I think like there was one point when Chelsea were linked with him when he was obviously, you know, at that stage where he was thinking about needing to leave, and I was just like, nah, there's no way this is the guy. This definitely isn't the guy. And he's done pretty well. But yeah, I agree, mate. Kelleher, for whatever reason, seems to just
does a good job every time he steps in, right? Like it's crazy.
And every time he plays against Chelsea, he's unbelievable. Both cup finals that we lost under Tuchel, he was great. I think he played in the cup final last season under the League Cup final last season, and he had a good game. Every time he plays against Chelsea, he seems to be great. And yeah, that it's a bit of a problem. And then he got Robert Sanchez at the other end, and you're just like thinking, please just don't make any mistakes, because the mistakes he's made this season haven't cost us any points. But if he makes mistakes in these big games and gives away 1 or 2 goals, that's giving the game away. I mean, mate, what are your thoughts on Sanchez anyway? I'm pretty sure I know what they are, but I mean, when we signed him last summer, mate, I think everyone was surprised. I mean, why are Chelsea signing Robert Sanchez for?
I don't know. You know what? I actually think they wanted to do a Raya situation.
Yeah,
they just wanted to be similar. Just sign a guy from mid-table club that, like, why is that? What did they see in Sanchez that makes him a top goalkeeper? I don't know. But anyway, Sanchez, good shot stopper sometimes, has these great moments sometimes, but for some reason he's not composed. He looks composed though. You know the difference between someone that looks composed but they're not composed.
It looks like he knows what he's doing, but
He's not. But he doesn't. Like he looks on the ball so calm and composed, and I know what I'm doing. I know. Trust me, but bro, I don't trust you, bro. I don't trust you one bit. You make so many mistakes.
I can't tell you how nervous he makes me when he's on the ball at the back. Like, it's honestly mad. Like, his decision making on the ball, he's either waits too long or he takes the wrong one. I've got no problem with this playing out from the back, fine. But sometimes there's a time and a place to just put your foot through it and get rid. And more often than not, he either, he'll play it into someone who's in a really difficult position, and then it often ends up inviting pressure onto ourselves, and it's no good. But Chelsea spent so much money on goalkeepers. Petrovic is now on loan at Strasbourg. I thought Petrovic was good last season.
He's better than Sanchez.
He's better. Well, exactly. He's better than Sanchez. But the reason for me why he's out is because there's a market for him. There's no market for Sanchez. If Chelsea could have got rid of Sanchez, they would have got rid of him, in my view. I mean, I don't know how much you know about the young lad Jorgensen, but
I have no idea about him.
Yeah, he's 22. Villarreal, obviously signed because they think he fits the Maresca style, but he's played 4 games against not very good opposition, and we haven't really found out anything about him. So, like, if you're Chelsea, like, because obviously we were linked with Andre Onana when he was at Inter, and we backed out of that deal. If you're Chelsea, Mo, what keeper do you think would be good to get that's attainable? A lot of people mentioned Diogo Costa from Porto. He might be quite expensive. I mean, I wouldn't mind Mike Maignan, but I mean, what sort of keeper do you think would be decent?
Maignan is good as well.
Yeah.
Mike Maignan is not bad. Again, I'm not a scout. Like,
no.
I don't watch all the leagues.
When you're looking at top keepers, though, like with the top keepers that are out there, it's a pretty short list.
It is. Like, I would say maybe you could have gotten Mamarashvili, that guy that Liverpool got.
Yeah.
Maybe you could have got Oblak. I know he's older now. Maybe San Oblak.
He's one of them that gets like linked every year with a move and it just never leaves.
I think he makes a lot of money. The thing about it, that Oblak is 30 years old, 31 years old. I believe a goalkeeper like that can give you like 5 years, top level.
Oh yeah, easy.
Top level, 5 years. Chelsea, goalkeeper sold until you find the young guy that will come after him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We did it. Inter did it when we had Toldo and we had Julio Cesar. You remember Julio Cesar? The guy that played?
Yeah.
Julio Cesar was eased into the team over 2 seasons. You know what I mean? You could have gotten Oblak, give him a 4-year contract or something, and within 2 years, sign a young goalkeeper, ease him into the team step by step, and then he takes over. But no, we're going to go and sign that Valencia or Villarreal goalkeeper that nobody heard of, that doesn't have great stats, that nobody rates in Spain because he's young. Another signing.
I mean, you look at a goalkeeper at 22, right? It's not the same as an outfield player. 22 for a goalkeeper is like 17 or 18. Like, as an outfield player, like you look at someone like Jorgensen and you're thinking, it could be 10 years till he's at his best. But it could be though. Like, do you know what I mean though? When you look at keepers at like 30, 31, 32, that's generally when they're probably playing their best football.
100%.
This kid's 22. It could be 8 years, 10 years until we see him playing at his best. So, like, he's not going to develop if he's just playing on a Thursday night. So I don't really know what the obvious answer is to.
I have no idea why they signed that Jorgensen guy.
They wanted someone to fit the Maresca style of play, but then they're going with Sanchez, and we get told that Sanchez is playing because he's good with his feet, but he's not. That's really the worst part of his game. So I don't get it. Do you know what it is with Sanchez though, mate? Like, he's one of them ones, right, that you know that he's going to cost you points over the course of a season, but then he'll come up with the odd unbelievable performance here or there, or he'll come up with some brilliant saves. I
would rather have a goal, Charlie, that will give me a 7 out of 10 consistently for 38 games than a keeper that will give me a 9 out of 10 game and then give me a 5 out of 10 for like 3-4 games.
Yeah,
I'd rather have the first one, to be honest.
Mate, you need a Mr. Dependable. Remember when Mourinho said like he'd win everything with a team of 11 Aspilicuetas? Like, you want someone that's just going to give you a 7 out of 10 every week.
You can build based on what you know.
Yeah. To be honest, mate, I've got no idea what we're going to do, but it's certainly going to be an interesting game, no doubt about it. I'm looking forward to it as always. But yeah, mate, I think we'll probably round it out there. Mo, thanks for joining me, bro. It's been greatly appreciated. If people don't know where to find you, mate, let them know where to go.
It's just Footy Judge Mo, guys, on YouTube. Just type Footy Judge Mo on YouTube. You'll find me there. And
you've hit 26k now? Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. Guys, Mo's channel will be tagged in the title. Make sure you click on it, go and show him some love. Some great content over there. So please do go and support him. Big up to everyone in the chat. Greatly appreciate all the support as always, guys. Please make sure you're smashing that like button on the way out. We are 15 likes away from 100 likes. Let's get it up to 100 likes on the way out. Would be greatly appreciated. People, make sure you are doing that. Do I think Reece James will play? No, he absolutely won't. He won't be on this. At best, he'll be on the bench. But no, I think it'll be a couple of weeks until we see him in any sort of action at all. But yeah, guys, love as always. Thanks for all the support. Keep supporting the channel. It's really appreciated. Subscribe to Mo. And yeah, I'll catch you again in another one soon. We're out of here.